Hello, this is Sean from Time and Talk. So today I am going to make my review of the G-Shock, the 35th anniversary. I've just put another couple of watches alongside it to give some perspective really, and we'll discuss that as we go through the video. But first of all, to introduce, so in 1983, Kikuo Ibe, who was an engineer at Casio, apparently he was unhappy with the damage that was incurred to one of his watches. I think his grandfather gave him a pocket watch, so he decided he was going to make a watch that could withstand anything really. So he did. So he designed the B5000C, which is the original G-Shock that was released in 1983. Which this is an homage to, a kind of an update of, so it's the same kind of case shape and things like that. It was essentially designed for tough things, so the military, outdoor activities, things like that, and the idea was you could do absolutely anything with it. In fact, Casio, I think it was last year or the year before, actually received a Guinness record for the toughest watch, because they allowed a 25-ton truck to drive over it and it had to be working afterwards, and it was. So this is a watch that's really built for sport, kind of outdoor tough activities, and it's a true tool watch if you want to put it that way, much like the two watches next to it. So these particular watches, the one in the middle is an example of, are the 35th anniversary watches. So you can get three different types essentially. A gold one, which isn't obviously real gold, it's a gold metal material with a full bracelet. A silver one with a full bracelet, and this one, which it has a resin band, a steel case, and an inverse display. So rather than black on white, it's white on black. So I've had this for about 2 weeks. Just want to talk through some of the specs and some of my thoughts. Okay, so I essentially bought this because I bought a watch and then it didn't come, so I got a refund and I had some money, so I thought, okay, I'll buy a G-Shock. Don't have one in my collection. I was just on the internet and I was on the G-Shock website as you do, and this was available, and I thought, okay, it's limited edition, so I might as well buy it like you do again. So yeah, it came and I'm really happy with it. In terms of some of the specs, it's 200 meter water resistant, so apparently, and it says so very clearly in the instructions, you can use it for scuba diving and things like that. One question that I've had and I've picked up on the internet that people have about it is, can you use the buttons when you're underwater? Apparently you can't, so don't do that. It's got an accuracy of plus or minus 15 seconds a month, which is much more accurate than either of the watches either side of it. You can connect it to your phone with Bluetooth for a host of features. I haven't tried that yet, and this is not going to be part of this video. I might make another video about it, but yeah, I haven't had a chance to try those features yet. I've seen a couple of things about it and it doesn't quite seem that it'd be something I'd use, but we'll see. It has a world time feature and multi-band technology, which I'm struggling a little bit to separate those two things, so hit me in the comments if you know more about this than me. But essentially you can tell the time in 40 different cities in the world, and also it automatically updates things like daytime saving and things like that, you know, when you put the clock an hour ahead or an hour back. And the 6 main radio signals, if you like, my understanding is that it automatically updates to be extremely accurate from those, okay? But I don't quite understand how you can have the 40 time zones and the 6. I don't quite know how they work together, so if you can help me understand that, then hit me in the comments. It's extremely shock resistant, obviously. This particular one, I wouldn't encourage you to have a 25-ton truck ride over it, but apparently that's what someone's done, so you know. It's shock resistant. as it says clearly on the case. It has power save mode, so it turns off when in the dark. It's solar powered, and it's got a light. So it is actually a really functional watch. And if you bought a mechanical watch with the amount of features that this has, it would cost you many thousands of pounds. So you do get good value in that case. But remember that this particular G-Shock, and they have released a newer version of the full metal G-Shock. I was on the website yesterday, and it's no longer a 35th anniversary one, but it's still the same price. This is about 4 times, maybe 5 times the price of the G-Shock that this is a celebration of, if you like. So, just talk through some of my thoughts. We've got 3 watches on the table. This is just to illustrate size, really. So, we've got the Seiko Mini Turtle on the left, which is 42mm. The Casio is 43mm. And we've got the Rolex Explorer, which is 39mm. Hopefully, this illustrates that it's not that big. It's the biggest watch that I own. And I have had the G-Shock before, and I didn't like it. I would go so far as I tested it. It looked ridiculous on my wrist. I've got a small wrist. It didn't go with the clothes that I wear and things like that. And I'll put a picture on as well so you can see how happy I look wearing it. But I mean, just to illustrate, just take the Explorer, and I mean, there's not a humongous difference in size, so that's something to be aware of. So just put these to one side, and we'll take a closer look at the G-Shock. So it has a resin band, which again, I'm not 100% sure what resin actually is. I don't think it's rubber. I think it's a natural material. One thing I would say about this is that it might look like it does now on video, but it doesn't attract dust and lint and things like that, which is really good, because sometimes you can have a rubber bracelet, maybe like the one on the Seiko, that attracts horrendous amount of dust and it makes it look kind of messy. It's got a nice buckle, and it wears quite well actually, and it tapers down quite nicely. I've read some people saying that they prefer if it didn't do that, so it looked bigger. But if I buy a G-Shock, I want one that's the smallest I can get, that's going to fit my wrist. If you look underneath, you've got those characteristic kind of cantilever things on the bracelet, and they make it kind of, the bracelet doesn't move. It doesn't move away from the case, which at first I thought is a weakness. And I still do to a certain extent, because the bracelet might seem like it wear really poorly. It doesn't. It wears really well, but that's something to think about. I mean, these big projections from the case, they're part of the case, so they make the watch wear bigger than it needs to. I personally would have thought of a way to make this a little bit more flowing. That's just me. It's quite a nice and shiny watch, you know, quite blingy, I guess. Nice and sporty. One thing that I would say is that I have a kind of job where you need to dress relatively smart. I wouldn't wear this for work. It just looked ridiculous. You know, it's the kind of thing when people wear Richard Meals and things like that with suits. I'm not a fan. So this is kind of weekend, kind of gym watch. But for that purpose, it really is very nice. The case shape wears really well. It does wear very small for a G-Shock, but it doesn't wear small, but small for a G-Shock. So yeah, so that's the aesthetics. I think it's a really nice watch. I think it's really well done, good quality. I like the band. The bracelet version would have been too much, I think. Especially since I picked this up really to wear in the gym and stuff, so that would have been ridiculous, you know, lolling around on your wrist as you're running and things like that. Okay, so some of the features. Right, so this is on world time at the moment, so I'll flick through the modes to show how it works. You probably had a G-Shock before, so you probably know. So this is the time mode. So there's a lot of features on this dial. So you've got the day, the date, the month, and the time. And apparently, according to Casio, this is automatically programmed to run without having to change it until 2099, which I'll probably be dead by then, so you know. But yeah, so there are a lot of features, and as I said, either an annual or perpetual calendar would cost you a bomb from another brand. Then you've got a world time feature. Essentially what you can do is you can hit the adjust button and you can pick various time zones to set as your world time. So the bottom time is the world time and the top time is the home time. I don't understand why they've done it in that order personally. Surely it should be the other way around, but you know. And then you can choose between 5 options that are kind of pre-programmed, and you can change which ones you program in. So I have it to Paris, which is just the only place that I really have ever been is Europe. So so the British time at the top, Paris time at the bottom, which is quite cool. It's essentially a GMT as well. You got your alarm, you can set it, it'll go off, wake you up, things like that. You've got a stopwatch, which is fairly standard to a G-Shock. And you've got this, which is a countdown timer. Again, you can change how long you want to count down. So for example, if you want to, you know, boil an egg, you can set it down for 7 minutes or whatever. Not quite sure why there's a countdown and a stopwatch. Don't really get the difference, but yeah. And that's it really. Those are the features. So it's quite feature packed. You've got your light, which is good. It's useful, you know, when you're in the dark, when you wake up in a hotel room running all the time, you press the light. That's really good. So it's feature packed, looks pretty nice. So in terms of, I do really like this watch. At first, and you might know this if you watched the unboxing video, I was a little bit underwhelmed. It's not something that really is me, to be honest, the G-Shock, but I do really like it. It wears a lot better than you might expect for a G-Shock if you're not used to them. It looks pretty nice. It's different to the others, which gives it a little bit of extra something. In terms of weaknesses, I think the weakness of this could be the price, because you know it's more expensive than the others. I think another thing particularly with this one, with it being so expensive, I can't see why G-Shock haven't made a smartwatch, you know, with fitness features. Hit me in the comments if they have, and I'm just offline here, but why would they make a watch that costs £350 that didn't have heart rate monitor, GPS, track distance and things like that, which would make it the best smartwatch in the world, undoubtedly. The Apple Watch currently, in my opinion, is the best one, but this would surely blow it away if it had those features, and it's actually cheaper still than the Apple Watch. Yeah, so that's one thing that I don't really understand, particularly about these ones. This watch with fitness features would be absolutely amazing. As it is, it's just brilliant. So yeah, tell me what you think about that. So in the next couple of weeks, I'll probably make a video about the app and the phone features, but as I've said, I know very little about those so far. I think it's a really nice watch with a couple of weak points, and I'm going to enjoy wearing it for a long time. Tell me what you think in the comments, and tell me about whether you actually know whether Casio have made a fitness band watch, you know, a smartwatch, Apple Watch type watch. And I'll just show you on the wrist, so you can see how it wears. Okay, so there it is. Really nice casual watch. Bit of extra something with the metal and the shine. Okay, thanks very much. Bye bye.